Hey guys, and welcome to Ease Co Brewing, and welcome to part 2 of the Cooper's DIY lager. So if you haven't seen part 1 already, I'm going to put a link down in the description. You can check it out. That's where we go through the process of brewing the Cooper's lager, and tonight we are going to be doing the bottling. So we're going to get started with that right away. But before we do, I just want to talk to you a little bit about this Cooper's DIY kit. It is so cool because, you know, before what I was doing when I was bottling or brewing beer, I would use the brewing bucket. Then I'd have to sanitize all of my carboy and my hoses and all kinds of stuff, and then I would transfer from that into the carboy for the secondary fermentation. The nice thing about this is you do your primary and your secondary fermentation in the same vessel, and then when you're ready to bottle, you put on this, you do it right from here, you put on the bottling wand here, and you just fill just directly right from here. So it's pretty cool and it's pretty convenient, way less sanitizing of equipment, dealing with hoses and filling bottles and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. So we've gone ahead and sanitized all of our bottles, and now we're going to do our priming. So if you're not sure what priming is, that's when you put a little bit of sugar into your bottles so that the remaining yeast that's in your beer consumes it and produces CO2, and then it carbonates your beer. So we're going to be using the Cooper's carbonation drops that came with the kit. Now these things are pretty cool. It's basically just drops of sugar, and I love using these things because I've used them before with the Mr. Beer kits, and it carbonates your beer perfectly every single time. Now if you don't have these, you can just use dextrose corn sugar, and if you look at the Cooper's website, they've got the recommendation for how much sugar you put into each bottle depending on the bottle size. So today we're going to be using, I think these are 740 milliliter bottles, and so we're going to be putting 2 carbonation drops into each bottle. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Just boom, boom, just like that. So we got 30 of these bottles to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, we've got all our bottles primed with our carbonation drops, and they're ready to go. So we're going to get started here. So this bottling wand is pretty cool because you put the bottle up, and there's a little thing at the bottom that starts the flow of the beer, and then when you pull it down, it stops it. But it's still a good idea to get something to put underneath to catch any drops that evidently do fall out. So we're going to start filling these, and I'll show you how it's done. You just put the bottle up like that, open up your tap, and away you go. And it just starts filling up. And when it gets to the top, that's when you want to pull it out, because the amount of the bottling wand in the bottle creates just the right amount of headspace for the beer, and you're good to go to cap it. So I'll show you that here. Takes a little bit to fill it up. That's all right. Still way more convenient than using a bunch of hoses and stuff. Alright, it's just about to get into the top here. And there you go. Pull her out and she's good to go. See, we're getting a little bit of dribble out of there already. Put your next bottle in and you're ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and fill all these up, and then we'll be back to cap them. Okay, we got all of our bottles filled up, and the keg is pretty much empty, or the fermenter. So we're going to go ahead and cap all of these bottles. One cool thing I like about these PET bottles, 2 things. I like to actually give them a little bit of a squeeze, and as you can see, it gets the rest of the, gets all the oxygen out. And then I go ahead and I cap it, and then less oxygen in your beer, and you're good to go. Now what you want to do is just give them a little bit of an invert, like that, just to mix up the priming sugar, and you're good to go. Another thing I like about them is right down in here, these little spots here. I find that they collect any of the sediment that's left once it settles, and when you go to pour it out, it just stays in those little spots in the bottle. So that's why I really like these. Also, no need for a capper or nothing. And you can reuse these caps too, and these bottles obviously. So pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention earlier when we were getting ready to bottle, we started off with a specific gravity of 1.038, and then I tested it over 3 days to see if it had been done fermenting, and it came out at 1.012. So we're going to be sitting at roughly around 3.2 to 3.3% alcohol content in these beers. So pretty light beer, but hey, that's going to be awesome for summertime when it's hot out. Nice light beer. It's going to be awesome. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3 when we actually taste test one of these. And we'll probably let them sit around for, 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll give them a try. So we'll be back to show you that. Cheers.